one and all. I'm Sridevi Polu, presently working as Principal, Telangana State Model School and Junior College, Pudur, Vikarabad District. It's my privilege to be here, and I feel immense pleasure that I'm the first speaker for this exclusive webinar sessions just now launched. And today I'm going to teach you the organic chemistry part in the second year, and I'll start with the alkyl halides. So once again, good morning, one and all. So, and I welcome you all for Telangana State Model Schools webinar series. I am Sridevi Polu, working as Principal, Telangana State Model School and Junior College, Pudur, Vikarabad District. And today I'm going to teach you the topic alkyl halides in the second year organic chemistry part. And before that, let me introduce all the topics which are present in second year chemistry, right? So the first chapter is solid state. Children, you all know that matter exists in three states, isn't it? Solids, liquids, and gases, right? And in this topic, we are going to learn about the properties of solids. And then coming to the second chapter, solutions. See, what is a solution? A solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances, right? So in solutions topic, we are going to learn about how to calculate the concentration of solutions, molarity, molality, normality, mole fraction, right? And then coming to the third one, that is electrochemistry. In this electrochemistry part, we are going to learn about the galvanic cell, voltaic cell, batteries, and then chemical kinetics, right? So you will be learning about the rate of reactions and what are the factors affecting rate of reaction, and everything will be learned in this topic, chemical kinetics. And then coming to the surface chemistry. See, surface chemistry deals with the topic, right? Adsorption, catalyst, colloidal solutions. See, what is adsorption? Adsorption is a surface phenomenon. It deals with all the phenomenon which takes place on the surface of solids or liquids. And then catalyst. You will be hearing about this word catalyst, isn't it? So in many of these reactions, we use catalyst to increase the rate of reaction. Yes, catalyst is a substance which increases the rate of reaction, but it doesn't participate in the reaction. So we are going to learn about the catalyst. See what is a positive catalyst, what is catalytic poison, and how it increases the rate of reaction. What are the theories behind that? We will learn about all these topics in surface chemistry. And then coming to the general principles of metallurgy. See, metallurgy deals with the part how the metals are extracted from the ores. See, what is a ore? A ore is a combination of two or more metals, right? And then coming to the p block elements. See, in our first year, we have learnt about p block elements, so the third and fourth group elements. And in our second year, we are going to learn about the 5A group elements, 6A group elements, 7A group elements, and zero group elements. See, we have learned about the periodic properties, right? So what are the periodic properties? Atomic radius, ionization energy, electronegativity, and then electron affinity. Okay, so about all these periodic properties, we will learn in this p block elements.
చెప్పాను నేను తనకి మిస్ కాల్ ఇస్తున్నాను మెసేజ్ పెడుతున్నా స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేయమని అదే ఆయనకి కూడా మెసేజ్ పెట్టాను సార్ స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేయండి చేస్తాను
So I hope everyone is watching the screen right now. Okay. Okay, please give me some time. So before that, let me tell you about this organic chemistry part. And children, why we are studying a separate chemistry for carbon and its compounds. So let me tell you about that. See, carbon is an element which has certain specific properties, isn't it? See, the element carbon shows certain specific properties which other elements doesn't show. So on what? See, the first one is its tetravalency. So the valency of carbon is 4. See, what is valency? Okay, so let me tell you what is this valency, right? I think now everyone is able to see this whiteboard, children. Okay, so then organic chemistry. So the chemistry of carbon and its compounds. So then let me continue with the topics which are present in our second year. Once again, I will repeat this, children, right? So we are going to start the topics with the solid state. We all know that matter exists in 3 states, isn't it? Solids, liquids, and gases. In this topic, solid state, we are going to learn about the properties of solids. Okay, so and then coming to the second one, solutions. See, what is a solution? A solution is a homogeneous mixture of 2 or more substances, right? And in this topic, solutions, we are going to calculate the concentration of solutions by using the methods molarity, molality, normality, and mole fraction. And then coming to the electrochemistry part. In this electrochemistry part, we will deal with the galvanic cells, voltaic cells, right? And then coming to the chemical kinetics. So in this topic, we will learn about the rate of reaction, right? So, and what are the factors affecting the rate of reaction? Okay, so then coming to the surface chemistry. See, surface chemistry is having enormous applications in day-to-day life. How means? By using the phenomenon of adsorption, catalyst, okay, and then colloidal solutions, right? So what is adsorption? See, adsorption is a surface phenomenon. It deals with all the phenomena takes place on the surface of solids or liquids. And then coming to the catalyst, we use this ammonia and we use iron as the catalyst, isn't it? See, what is a catalyst? A substance which doesn't participate in the reaction but increases the rate of reaction is called as a catalyst. And then coming to the colloidal solutions. See, colloidal solution, it consists of a dispersed phase and dispersion medium. And these colloidal solutions are having lot of applications. And we will deal about all these topics in surface chemistry. And then coming to the fifth topic, that is general principles of metallurgy. See, metals are extracted from ores or minerals. What is an ore? The native part of a metal which is present in the earth's crust is called as an ore or a mineral. And in this topic, we will deal with all the techniques, how these metals are extracted from the ores. Okay. And then coming to the P block elements. Children, if you remember, in our first year, we have learned about the 1A group elements, that is the alkali metals. 2A group elements, alkaline earth metals, and then coming to the third group and fourth group elements. And this year, we are going to learn about the 5A group elements. That is a nitrogen family. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, and bismuth. Okay, so then sixth group elements, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, and polonium. And then coming to the seventh group elements, you will be hearing about the word halogens, isn't it? See, what are halogens? The halous forming elements, the elements which form the sea salts, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine, and astatine. And then coming to the zero elements. So every atom tries to attain stability. Okay, how it attains stability? By getting 8 electrons in its valency shell. That is the ns2np6 configuration, right? So what are zero group elements? Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon belongs to the zero group of the periodic table. So they are the inert gases. So they are chemically inert in nature. And about all these groups, we will learn in this topic, that is a p block elements. So what we are going to learn is the general periodic properties. So what are the periodic properties? Atomic radius, ionization energy, electronegativity, and electropositivity. And then coming to the D and F block elements. See, the D block elements. So they are arranged in how many series? Yes, they are arranged in 4 series, 3D, 4D, 5D, and 6D series. So the elements in which the differentiating electron enters into the d orbital are called as d block elements. And then coming to the f block elements. So we are going to learn about the f block elements. So which are arranged in 2 series, that is the 4f series and 5f series. Okay. And then the most important thing about this is coordination compounds. Yes, we are going to learn about the properties of coordination compounds. And then coming to the polymers. What is a polymer? So when you go to a shop or to a market, so where do you bring the things to home? So we will use a polythene bag, isn't it? Children, do you know this? Once upon a time, these polymers were thought to be a boon to the human beings. But now, so these polymers are becoming a curse. Why? Because of this biodegradation, right? It is not easily, they are not easily biodegradable. Okay, so poly means many. Mer means a single part, a small part. When large number of molecules combine together, they form a big compound, which we call as polymer. So we are going to deal with this polymers, right? And then coming to the biomolecules. What are biomolecules? The biomolecules are nothing but carbohydrates, proteins, amino acids, vitamins, nucleic acids. So we are going to learn about this in biomolecules. And then coming to the chemistry in everyday life. See, the name itself indicates that how chemistry is applicable in our day-to-day life. We are going to learn about the chemistry in everyday life. See, what happens when we are suffering from fever or cold or headache? We will take a tablet, right? We will take some medicine. So what is the difference between a drug and medicine? And what is the therapeutic use of these? How they are applicable? So what are the uses of this? How they are synthesized? We are going to learn on this chemistry in everyday life. So, and then coming to our organic chemistry part, haloalkanes and haloarenes, and then the other organic compounds containing carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, okay? And then the last one, that is the organic compounds containing nitrogen. Okay, so now I think it is clear for you children. So which topics we are going to learn in our second year. The chemistry is very easy, isn't it? If you just remember the name of the meaning, right? So for example, homo atomic molecule. What is homo? Homo means same. When similar atoms combine together, they form homo atomic molecules. See, it's very easy, no? So like this, we can learn a number of concepts. So today, I'm going to start with the organic chemistry part for you children, right? So let me introduce you this organic compounds. So we all know that this organic chemical compounds appear in materials like clothing, fuels, polymers, dyes, and medicines. See, all these chapters we are going to study, isn't it? Polymers, right? Okay, and then fuels, then medicines and dyes. And then Euler synthesized an organic compound, urea, from ammonium cyanate. Okay, so then let's move to the remaining topics. So let me tell you about this organic chemistry. The organic chemistry is nothing but the study of carbon and its compounds. So why exclusively carbon? So I will tell you why it's exclusively carbon. We are going to study of organic compounds. Then, so two things are observed in organic chemistry. There is a hydrocarbons and hydrocarbon derivatives. The name itself indicates that they contain hydrogen and carbon. Okay. So then, why carbon? Right? So the molecules with carbon are called as organic compounds, and the remaining compounds are called as inorganic compounds. Okay, is it clear? Shall I repeat? So the molecules which contain carbon are called as, children, please remember, and then the remaining are called as inorganic. Then why carbon is important? So let's see this, because they are versatile, right? So they can form 4 bonds. The carbon atom can form 4 bonds, and then it can form rings, chains, and the bonds formed are having high energy. Take the example of diamond, right? Which is sp3 hybridized. Okay. And then coming to the next one, functional groups. See, what is a functional group, children? The functional group is an atom or group of atoms. Okay. And they are arranged in specified manner, and they will induce certain specific properties to the compounds. Take the example of alcohol. See, an alcohol is different from a carboxylic acid, isn't it? You will use vinegar, right? Vinegar, so to clean the vegetables and to clean the meat, we use vinegar, which is nothing but acetic acid. That is a carboxylic acid. And you know about ethanol, right? Ethanol, the alcohol which people used to drink, ethyl alcohol, right? Alcoholic properties are different from carboxylic properties. So which made it different? That is the functional group. So what is a functional group? Functional group is an atom or a group of atoms which are arranged in a specified manner and which will give certain characteristic properties to the organic compounds. Okay. Then we'll proceed to the next one. So let me explain you all these things by using this whiteboard. Okay. So then coming to the organic chemistry. So the chemistry of carbon and its compounds. So let me tell you in a detailed manner about this organic chemistry. The chemistry of carbon and its compounds is called as organic chemistry. So why exclusively carbon?
తాళాలు పోలే సార్, సెక్షన్ తాళాలు పోలే, వీళ్ళు హైదరాబాద్ సెక్షన్ అంట సార్. మీ గురించి వచ్చింది సార్.
Right? So, carbon.
పంపించేసి వేరే మొత్తం
number of carbon.
వీళ్ళు మొత్తం కౌంటర్ ఏ పని లేదు.
Atomic number of carbon. 6. So its valency shell configuration 2s2 2p2. S orbital contains 2 electrons, and then p orbital contains 2 electrons, right? Okay. And then coming to the properties of carbon which made it so special. So the first one is its tetravalency. Okay. Tetravalency. The second one is catenation. The third one is allotropy. Allotropy. Okay, children, right? So we are going to study the chemistry of carbon and its compounds. I am introducing you right? So why we are studying a separate chemistry for carbon and its compounds? So what is the first one? Tetravalency. See, tetravalency means tetra, 4. So what is tetra? 4. And valency, the combining capacity of an atom, is called as valency. So what is tetra? 4. And what is valency? The combining capacity of an atom is called as valency. Right. So it indicates that the valency of carbon is 4. Okay. So then, so let me write once again. Carbon atomic number 6. Its valency shell configuration 2s2 2p2. It indicates that it contains 4 electrons in the valency shell, children. So it belongs to the 4th group of the periodic table, isn't it? Now, this is the ground state. Okay, ground state. In the excited state, what happens? When light falls on them, they will absorb some energy and enter into the higher energy level. That's what we call as the excited state. In the excited state, an electron from 2s orbital enters into 2p orbital, right? 2p orbital. Okay. Now, see here how many unpaired electrons it is having? 4 unpaired electrons. Please always remember that it is only the unpaired electrons will participate in the bonding, right? So they will participate in the bonding. See, what is a bond? It is a force of attraction that binds two atoms or two molecules or two ions. It's called as a bond. Okay. Whenever you hear the terminology, you should try to understand the meaning, children. So hope you have understood this ground state and excited state. Okay. So what happened in the excited state? In the excited state, an electron from 2s orbital entered into 2p orbital. Now it is having 4 unpaired electrons. So that's why it can form 4 single bonds or 2 double bonds, okay, or triple bond. See, 4 single bonds, 2 double bonds and 1 triple bond. See, what is a single bond? A single bond is a sigma bond. A double bond consists of a sigma bond and pi bond. And a triple bond consists of 1 sigma bond and 2 pi bonds, children. So please remember this. So this is sigma and pi. Okay, this is sigma and pi, right? And this is sigma and 2 pi bonds. Okay, so now let us move to the next part of this. What types of hybridization does this carbon atom show? Let us learn now, right? So carbon atom exhibits, okay, sp3 hybridization, sp2 hybridization, and then sp hybridization. See, what is hybridization, right? So it is a process in which pure atomic orbitals combine to give hybrid orbitals. The number of orbitals before hybridization is equal to the number of orbitals after hybridization. Okay, I will repeat it once again. So hybridization is a phenomenon or a process in which pure atomic orbitals combine together and they form new hybrid orbitals. The number of orbitals before hybridization is equal to the number of orbitals after hybridization. Okay. And then the most important thing which you have to remember is the orbitals will participate in the hybridization. It is not the atoms or the electrons. Please remember this, children. So the orbitals will participate in the hybridization and it is not the electron or the atom. And how the orbitals should be? Yes, they may be half filled. They may be completely filled or they may be vacant. They will participate in hybridization. So please be clear regarding this. So people will be thinking that, so the atom is undergoing hybridization, the electrons are participating in hybridization. No, It is only the orbitals which involve in hybridization. And the orbitals may be half filled, completely filled, or they may be vacant. Okay. So now let us see all these three types of hybridization by taking the examples. Okay. So let me start with the sp3 hybridization, children. I hope you are following me, right? So I will take the example of methane molecule, right? So methane, which is commonly known as marsh gas, as it is found in very damp places. Marsh gas, methane. See, in organic compounds, if one carbon atom is there, we will call it as meth. If two carbon atoms are there, eth. 3, prop. 4, but. 5, pent. Okay. So this is about methane, right? So atomic number of carbon, 6. Valency shell configuration, it's 2s2, 2p2. Okay, s orbital contains 2 electrons and p orbital contains 2 electrons, right? Okay, so this is the ground state. Already we discussed about this two states, ground state and excited state. In the excited state, one electron from 2s orbital enters into 2p orbital, right? And now this s atomic orbital combines with 3p atomic orbitals, forming 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals. 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals. Okay, children? Yes? Now, so this is the carbon atom. So which has formed 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals. Okay, then now they will overlap with 4 1s atomic orbitals of hydrogen atoms, right? 1s, okay, 1s, and then 1s. See, these are the 4 hydrogen atoms, and we have formed sigma sp3 s bonds. How many? 4. So they have formed 4 sigma sp3 s bonds. Yes. What is a sigma bond? A bond formed by linear overlapment. Yes. The bond formed by linear overlapment is called as a sigma bond. A sigma bond is stronger than a pi bond. Okay. It can exist without a pi bond. Right? And then what is the structure of this? Yes, you are right. The structure of this is tetrahedral. The structure of this compound is tetrahedral. Okay. And then coming to the bond angle. The bond angle is, of course, you are correct. The bond angle is 109 degrees, 28 minutes. Very good. So 109 degrees, 28 minutes. Okay. So this is the bond angle and this is the structure of this molecule. Hope it is clear for you children regarding this sp3 hybridization. So sp3 hybridization taken place in methane. So in the excited state, the 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals are formed and they will combine with 4 1s atomic orbitals of 4 hydrogen atoms, forming 4 sigma sp3 s bonds. The structure of this compound is tetrahedral and the bond angle is 109 degrees 28 minutes. Okay, right. So I hope you have copied this. Okay, and then I'm moving to sp2 hybridization. Okay, right. So let me tell you what is this sp2 hybridization. Okay, sp2 hybridization. So it is clear that 1s atomic orbital combines with 2p atomic orbitals and forming 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. Okay, I'm taking the example of ethene or ethylene. Ethene or ethylene. So the common name is ethylene and the IUPAC name is ethene. Eth means 2 carbons and then a double bond, ene, ethene. Okay, so once again, let us write the atomic number and valency shell configuration. Atomic number 6 and valency shell configuration, it is 2s2, 2p2. s orbital with 2 electrons, and then p orbital with 2 electrons. Okay, right? So it is having 2 electrons in the valency shell. So this is the ground state. In the excited state, one electron will enter from the 2s orbital into 2p orbital. Okay, like this. Now, see what is the hybridization? Yes, it is a sp2 hybridization. One s orbital combines with 2p orbitals, forming 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. Clear? 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. And please carefully look at the screen, right? See, the 2 carbon atoms individually undergo sp2 hybridization. So people will be thinking that, so how 6 sp2 hybrid orbitals are formed, right? So the carbon atoms, there are 2 carbons here. Please look at the compound. There are 2 carbons, and in each carbon, sp2 hybridization takes place separately. See, this is the carbon and this is another carbon, right? sp2 means how many? 3. Yes, they will form 3 hybrid orbitals. Yes. How many? Please count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. And then how many hydrogens? 4 hydrogens. Yes. 1 hydrogen, another hydrogen, another hydrogen, another hydrogen. Is it clear, children? Right? Yes, they have combined with 4 hydrogen atoms, forming sp2s bonds, sp2s sigma bonds. So the linear overlappment leads to the formation of a sigma bond. When the overlapping of orbitals takes place along a straight chain, right? They form a sigma bond. Okay, hope you are all able to understand this. Okay, so then now please look here. So this is also a sigma sp2 bond. Now, if you just observe here, there is one pure p orbital which doesn't involve in hybridization, isn't it? So this is the pure p orbital which doesn't involve in hybridization, and that p orbital, okay, so then which doesn't involve in hybridization will overlap laterally, forming a pi bond. What bond? Pi bond. So the formula CH2 double bond, CH2 sigma bond and pi bond. Okay, is it clear, children? So in ethylene there is a double bond. Double bond consists of a sigma bond and pi bond. Now the structure of the molecule. What is the structure? Yes, of course, you are correct. So it is trigonal planar or planar triangle. Okay, and then the bond angle, yes, it's 120 degrees, right? Planar triangle, and then bond angle 120 degrees. Hope you are clear with this, children. So let me tell you about this sp2 hybridization. So sp2 hybridization, we can see this in ethene. Ethylene is the common name. Ethene is the IUPAC name, right? Because it contains 2 carbons and a double bond. So the carbon atom is undergoing sp2 hybridization. As there are 2 carbons, so separately they will undergo sp2 hybridization and they will produce 6 sp2 hybrid orbitals. They will overlap with 4 hydrogen orbitals, and one of them will overlap with each other. And then, so there is a pure p orbital which overlaps laterally, forming a pi bond. Okay, so please remember, whenever you see a double bond, you should understand that it is a sigma bond and pi bond. Okay, yes. Now let me teach you the last one, that is sp hybridization. Hope you are following me, children, right? sp hybridization. One s orbital combines with one p orbital, forming how many? 2 sp hybrid orbitals. Okay, And now I'm taking the example of another organic compound. Acetylene is the common name and ethyne is the IUPAC name. See, why ethyne? Eth, 2 carbons and a triple bond, isn't it? So, ine. Ethyne is the IUPAC name and then acetylene is the common name. So, we used to listen to oxyacetylene flame, isn't it? Oxyacetylene torch, right? Oxyacetylene. This is acetylene. Okay, ethyne. So, once again, atomic number 6. Valency shell configuration 2s2, 2p2, s orbital with 2 electrons and p orbital with 2 electrons. Okay, right? This is the ground state. In the excited state, 1 electron will enter into the p orbital. Okay, now, so there are 4 unpaired electrons, isn't it? Yes. And then what is a hybridization? Yes, it is sp hybridization. How many will be forming? 2, because 2 have combined and they will form 2, right? 2 sp hybrid orbitals are formed. And then this will take place individually in both of the carbon atoms. Yes, carbon and then carbon. So sp hybrid orbital and then sp hybrid orbital. Yes, they will overlap with each other forming sigma sp, right? So the bond formed is sigma and then the orbitals are sp. Okay, so this is the meaning of this, children. Please try to understand. Then this will overlap with hydrogen atoms. Okay, one is hydrogen and one is another hydrogen, right? And then coming to the hybridization, please give a glance here. See, there are 2 pure p orbitals which are left. 1 and 2. These are the pure p orbitals. 1 and 2. They will overlap laterally, forming 2 pi bonds, children. How many pi bonds? 2 pi bonds. CH, triple bond, CH. Clear? Whenever you see a single bond, you should understand that it is a sigma bond. Yes, a sigma bond can exist without a pi bond, but a pi bond cannot exist without a sigma bond. Okay, so then what is the structure? Yes, it is carefully, if you carefully observe, then it is very clear that it is linear. Yes, it is linear. The structure of the molecule is linear and the bond angle is, of course, it is 180 degrees. 180 degrees. Okay, children. I think now everyone is aware of this hybridization. Just once again, I recall you the basic concepts of this. So how carbon is able to form 4 single bonds and 2 double bonds and 1 triple bond. Okay. So then we will move to the next part of this. Okay. So I told you earlier, because of these 3 specific properties, we are studying a separate chemistry for carbon and its compounds. Because of its ability to form some crores of compounds, right? The second one is catenation. So let me tell you what is this catenation, right? So catenation, the self-linkage property of an atom to form chains and rings. The self-linkage property of an atom to form chains, rings, and network-like structures is called as catenation. See, what is this? Yes, it is a straight chain. Now I'll show you the closed chain. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Okay, now see, it is a closed chain. It is a ring-like structure and it is a chain structure. So the self-linkage, self means the atom itself combines with other atoms, right? The self-linkage, links means it is forming links here. Please look at the screen. So it is forming some links. The self-linkage property of an atom to form chains and rings is called as catenation. Okay. And then coming to the third one, that is nothing but allotropy. Yes. What is allotropy? If you listen to this term allotropy or whenever you hear to this, you will remember two compounds. What are they? Yes, it is nothing but diamond and graphite, isn't it? So the most precious one, diamond, is the other one, graphite. See children, see the beauty of nature. See here, see what is allotropy? The existence of an element in two or more physical forms, but having same chemical composition or the chemical properties, what we can call. That is called as allotropy. What is it? Allotropy, right? So for looking externally, they will look different. They will have different external appearance, right? The physical appearance may be different, but the chemical composition is same. Both of them contains carbon, but diamond is very precious and rare. But graphite, so graphite is, we can find graphite anywhere, right? It is not so costly like diamond. Then see the properties also. In diamond, the carbon atoms are sp3 hybridized. Whereas in graphite, yes, you are correct, it is sp2 hybridized. And diamond is very hard. We can cut a diamond with another diamond, isn't it? Yes. And the shape of a diamond is, it is a cage-like structure. Whereas graphite, it is a hexagonal sheet-like structure, layer-like structure. It has layer-like structure, right? Graphite. And graphite is very soft, whereas diamond is very hard. Okay, so we will have this hexagonal sheet-like structure. Okay, and then the most important comparison between this diamond and graphite. Of course, you are 100% correct. So diamond is a bad conductor, whereas graphite is a good conductor. Why? The reason is the sp3 and sp2 hybridization. So I will show you what is this. See, this is the sp3 hybridization. See, in sp3 hybridization, we didn't find an unpaired electron which is left over here because all have participated in the hybridization and bonding, isn't it? But when you look at sp2 hybridization, please carefully look at sp2 hybridization. So there is an unpaired electron present here, and due to the presence of this unpaired electrons, they act as good conductors. So due to the presence of sp2 hybridization, children, graphite is a good conductor. So what is electricity? The flow of electrons. What are electrons? The negatively charged particles. These are the subatomic particles which revolve around the nucleus in an atom are called as electrons. Okay. Now I think everyone has understood the three specific properties of carbon which made it a special element, a different element from other elements in the periodic table, and why we are studying a separate chemistry for carbon and its compounds. The reason is because of its tetravalency. So it can extend its hybridization to sp3, sp2, sp. Okay, and then catenation, and then coming to allotropy. Okay, hope you are all comfortable and you are able to understand this. And then now I'm going to start the alkyl halides part. So today I may be introducing this and I'll continue the remaining part of this also. Okay, so don't worry. So alkyl halides. Just I will introduce this, children. See, organic chemistry is very easy. Okay, there is nothing to write. Okay, there is no theory part at all, just the atoms. Okay, we are going to manipulate the bonds and atoms. When you add atoms, bonds will be disappearing, right? So when you remove atoms, bond will be forming. So that's the beauty of this organic chemistry. And then coming to the alkyl halides. So haloalkanes, the IUPAC name of this compound is haloalkanes. So I will explain each and every word, don't worry. So alkyl, R-H. What is this? Yes, alkane, isn't it? We will take the example, CH3H. Methane, yes, one carbon, meth, two carbons, eth, right? This is ethane, C2H5H. Now, if I replace this hydrogen, so what is it? If I replace this hydrogen, means if I substitute this hydrogen with a halogen. Now, what is a halogen? Yes, halogens are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astatine. So these are the halogens. So why they are called as halogens? Because they form the sea salts, salt forming elements. Take the example of rock salt, sodium chloride, which we use in our home every day, isn't it? What does it contain? NaCl, rock salt. Okay, so then NaBr, sodium bromide. Okay, sodium bromide, and Ki, potassium iodide. What are all these? These are the salts. Hence the name halogens, salt forming elements. Salt forming elements. We always show them with X, right? They are indicated by the letter X. And please remember about fluorine. Fluorine is called as superhalogen. It is called as superhalogen because of its high reactivity, right? And it is highly electronegative. Fluorine is the highly electronegative element present in the periodic table with a value of 4.0. Please remember this, children. So now I think you have understood about halogens and then this alkanes. So now what I am going to do, please see. So I am going to replace this hydrogen with a halogen. Okay. So then what happens? So I am going to replace this with chlorine, CH3Cl, and this with bromine, C2H5Br. Okay. So what I have done, children, I have replaced the hydrogens in methane and ethane with chlorine and bromine. Yes, we got haloalkanes, alkyl halides. See what the name has changed. So R dash is the alkyl group. Please remember, alkyl group. So what is R dash? Alkyl group. Okay, so R dash X is an alkyl halide. Is it clear? R dash X is an alkyl halide. So this is the alkyl halide. And what is this alkyl halide? Methyl chloride. Methyl chloride. Okay, methyl chloride. And then this is ethyl bromide. Ethyl bromide. Clear, children? Any doubts regarding this? So I'll get you back in my next class if you have any doubts and all, right? So what is this? This is an alkane. R dash H is an alkane. CH3H is methane. C2H5H is ethane. So if you combine both of this, nothing but CH4, right? This is C2H6. Simple. And now I have replaced this hydrogens with halogens. And we got this alkyl halides. Haloalkanes is the IUPAC nomenclature, right? And now I think you have finished copying this. Okay, alkyl halides, that is haloalkanes, right? I'll show you a number of alkyl groups, children. See, what are the alkyl groups? What are the alkyl groups? So CH3 dash. Methyl. Okay. C2 C2H5 dash. Ethyl. C3H7 dash. N-propyl. See what is N, children? Normal, straight chain. We call it as N-propyl. CH3, CH2, CH2 dash. N-propyl. Okay. So then coming to the next one, CH3, CH, CH3 dash. What is this? Isopropyl. Isopropyl. Iso. When the second carbon is having a single methyl group as a branch, we call it as iso. What is it? Iso. And then now let us move to the remaining alkyl groups. So let me make you familiar with this because you will be listening about this alkyl groups in your chapter alkyl halides. CH3, C, CH3, CH3 dash. What is this? This is nothing but, see, count the carbons, 4 carbons, isn't it? And then this carbon is the tertiary carbon. tertiary. Tertiary butyl. What is it? Tertiary butyl. Okay. So please remember this. Methyl, ethyl, N-propyl. N-propyl means normal. It is a straight chain. Iso, it is having a single branch, isn't it? And then coming to the tertiary butyl, the carbon is linked with 3 methyl groups. So we call it as tertiary, right? Tertiary. Primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary, secondary, and tertiary. Okay? Okay, Nana? Now I think you are able to understand this, right? So please copy down this. Methyl, ethyl, N-propyl, isopropyl, and then tertiary butyl. Tertiary butyl. So then, so let me move to the next part of this, classification of alkyl halides, right? So classification, division, right? Into how many types they are divided. We call it as classification. Classification of alkyl halides. If I am a bit fast, please excuse me, children. In my next class, I will try to teach very slowly, right? Don't worry. Okay, I'll make you learn chemistry. Chemistry is very easy when compared with physics, because the physics is a bit tougher than chemistry. Okay, so classification of alkyl halides. So the first type of alkyl halides, based on the number of halogens, please note down, based on the number of halogen atoms. Based on the number of halogen atoms, alkyl halides are divided into monohalogen derivatives. Okay, monohalogen derivatives, dihalogen derivatives. Okay, and then trihalogen derivatives. Okay, and then poly means many. Poly means many. See, the name itself indicates that mono, one, di, two, tri, three, poly, many. So I'll give the examples here itself. It will be easy for you, children. Don't worry. Mono. If the alkyl halides contain one halogen, so I will give the examples for this. CH3Cl. Okay. Then CH3, CH, CH3, Br. Then second one, CH2Cl, CH2Cl. How many halogens? 2 halogens. Okay, good. Then coming to the third one, CH, Cl3. How many halogens? 3. Now the last example, CCl4. How many halogens? 4 halogens, right? Monohalogen derivatives. If the alkyl halides contain one halogen atom. I think you are clear with this. Dihalogen, 2 halogens. Trihalogen derivatives, 3 halogens. Polyhalogen derivatives, more than 3, right? We call it as poly, carbon tetrachloride, CCl4, right? So this is the first type of classification, children. So based on the number of halogen atoms, alkyl halides are classified into 4 types: monohalogen derivatives, dihalogen derivatives, and trihalogen derivatives, and polyhalogen derivatives. We can call it with other name also: monohaloalkanes, dihaloalkanes, trihaloalkanes, or polyhaloalkanes. Okay, is it clear, children? So I think I have reached to some extent with you all, right? So I introduced you the organic chemistry part. Okay, so let me recall you what are the topics today we have learned. So organic chemistry deals with the carbon and its compounds. Okay, so the special properties of carbon: tetravalency, catenation, allotropy. They made it so special, right? Because of its ability to form some crores of compounds. So it is able to form 4 single bonds, 2 double bonds, and a triple bond. Catenation, the self-linkage property of an atom to form chains and rings, is called as catenation, isn't it? And then coming to the third one, allotropy. So what is allotropy? So the existence of an element in 2 or more physical forms but having same chemical composition. So carbon forms 2 types of allotropes. So that is the crystalline and amorphous. Okay, crystalline allotropes, example diamond and graphite. And then coming to the amorphous allotropes are coal, peat, lignite, bituminous coal, anthracite. Okay, so then it is having the capacity to extend its hybridization into sp3. So please give a glance before the completion of this class. sp3 hybridization, okay, right? The example methane, structure tetrahedral, bond angle 109 degrees 28 minutes. And then coming to the second type of hybridization, sp2 hybridization. So the example we have taken is ethene, 2 carbons, eth, double bond ene, the common name ethylene, right? Our polythene bags is made of this compound. That is a monomer and that is a polymer, right? So the structure, planar triangle, and the bond angle 120 degrees. Now let us move to the last type of hybridization, that is sp hybridization. So sp hybridization, the example mentioned here is acetylene. The common name ethine is the IUPAC name. 2 carbons eth and a triple bond ine, ethine. Okay. So, and I thank one and all for joining me, right? And I sincerely express my gratitude to our director, Sri A. Satyanarayan Reddy Garu, for giving all of us this opportunity to reach you children. So wherever you are, I think you are listening to me. So please learn the concepts, right? So thank you.
Manjari madam.
Thank you, Mrs. Sridevi, for the wonderful presentation on organic chemistry. Hope the intermediate second year students have benefited with this session. And the students also can revisit the same session in Model School's YouTube channel later also, those who are unable to listen now. Now I request Mrs. Shailija, Principal Bolaram, to conclude the session.
Sir, I request the director, sir, if possible, to speak.
మీరు మాట్లాడండి, నేను సార్ని కాంటాక్ట్ చేస్తా. శైలజ మేడం.
Yes sir, yes sir.
మీరు కంటిన్యూ చేయండి, నేను సార్ని కాంటాక్ట్ చేస్తా.
I am KV Shailaja, principal.
Okay, నేను లైన్ లో ఉన్నాను. వెనుకబడి గారు.
ఓకే థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. సార్ లైన్ లో ఉన్నారు.
Sir please.
మీరు సార్ వీడియో వస్తలేదు మీది.
వీడియో వస్తలేదా?
వీడియో ఉంది కానీ ఏదో వేరే ఇమేజ్ చూపిస్తుంది. మీరు మిమ్మల్ని ఫేస్ చేస్తుంటే
ఏ వీడియో చూపిస్తుంది మీకు?
అక్కడ ఏదో రెడ్ లైట్ కనిపిస్తుంది సార్, వేరే ఏం కనిపిస్తలేదు.
రెడ్ లైట్. ఓకే పెట్టా.
మీరు మాట్లాడండి శైలజ మేడం.
This webinar series is exclusively started to cater to the educational needs of our intermediate students. This series started with organic chemistry of second year. Shortly the timetable will be shared. Encourage all the second year intermediate students along with the concerned subject teachers to participate. Now I hand over to director, additional director sir, Model Schools sir.
సార్ మాట్లాడండి సార్.
ఏం చెప్పాలి ఇప్పుడు?
క్లోజింగ్ కామెంట్స్ చెప్పండి. అంటే ఈ రోజు
క్లోజింగ్ అయిపోయిందా? క్లాస్ అయిపోయిందా?
అయిపోయింది సార్ ఇవాళకి.
Continue అవుతుంది sir. Tomorrow it will continue.
Very good. Congratulations to all the principals and other staff members and students. మంచి very good beginning. చాలా చక్కగా ఎక్కడ ఎటువంటి ఇబ్బంది లేకుండా 1 అవర్ పైన 1.5 అవర్ పైన క్లాస్ నడిచి 1 అవర్ పైన అనుకుంటా
1.5 hours.
నడిచారు. శ్రీదేవి గారు కెమిస్ట్రీ పాఠం బాగా చెప్పారు.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
చాలా ఈజీగా నాకు కూడా అర్థమైంది. యాక్చువల్ ఐఎమ్ ఆర్ట్స్ స్టూడెంట్, నాకు కూడా కెమిస్ట్రీ మంచిగా అర్థమైంది. అంత బాగా చెప్పారు.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్.
స్టూడెంట్స్ అందరూ ఈజీగా అర్థం చేసుకోగలిగే ఉంది, తెలుగు మీడియం కానీ ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియం కానీ ఎవరు కూడా. కాబట్టి దీన్ని మనం కంటిన్యూ చేద్దాం. మంచి రెస్పాన్స్ ఉంటుంది దీనికి. ఐఎమ్ ఎక్స్పెక్టింగ్ గుడ్ రెస్పాన్స్ ఫర్ దిస్.
Sure.
I, KV Shalja, Principal TSMS Jinnaram, take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks. I thank Sri Satyanarayan Reddy Sir, Director, Telangana Model Schools, for all the guidance and motivation provided for this webinar series, without which this online education of model schools wouldn't have been realized. As I told previously, this webinar series will cater to the learning needs of intermediate second year students. I thank Mrs. Sridevi, Principal, TSMS Pudur, for the pioneer lecture of organic chemistry delivered today as a part of the webinar series of Telangana State Model Schools. I also thank the host team of principals whose suggestions, coordination could see the webinar series to come out in proper form. Tomorrow we will have next webinar session whose link will be shared with you all. Encourage all the second year students of intermediate to participate along with the concerned subject teachers, the timetable of which will be shared shortly. Our mission is to reach all the students and make them feel that they are not left behind in their learning in this pandemic. Stay learned, stay safe. Thank you.
గుడ్, వెరీ గుడ్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
Thank you.
నేను కనబడుతున్నా మీకు?
మీరు కనిపిస్తలేరు సార్.
సరే, ఓకే, నో ప్రాబ్లం. ఓకే, రైట్.
ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
Tomorrow we'll meet at the same time, 10:30, with another interesting session. Thank you.
రైట్.
రైట్.